Okay, good morning and hello to everyone. This is Hisham Madi from External Affairs Office at Islamic University of Gaza. We meet again within a series of webinars on scholarship for postgraduate study. Actually, these webinars aim to introduce the interested student to the available scholarship all over the world by hosting those who had received this scholarship to talk and discuss with us about their experience and the knowledge that they gain. In today's session, actually, we are hosting guests from College of Europe in Natolin. This college actually provide postgraduate studies in interdisciplinary. And it's our pleasure today to host Mr. Manfredi, the Communication and Recruitment Officer, and Dr. Email Research Fellow at the college. Actually, our friends today will help us to provide information about the scholarship that the college is providing for the Palestinian students. This information actually will be helpful for the students to understand the procedures, the requirement, and the conditions to apply in this college. Actually, we will start with our colleague, Mr. Manfredo, to share with us his presentation regarding the processes and the application for the scholarship. Yes, Manfredo, you can start.
Thank you very much, Mr. Madi, for the introduction. I am very happy, and I think I can also speak with Dr. Badai. We are very happy to be here to present the offer of the College of Europe. As I was saying early on, we always have Palestinian students with us. We have had if I'm correct, two last year. We have one student from Gaza this year. In general, the College of Europe welcomes many students coming from the EMP, so from neighboring countries, and so of course from Palestine as well. I would like to share some slides, so I'm going to do this now. Just give me a second. Maybe I just want to make sure that, are you seeing the slide, Mr. Mani? Just one, if you can give me a sign that the slides are visible.
No, the slides are not visible.
Okay,
we see your email back.
Okay, then just 1 second, I'm going to share.
Yeah.
1 quick second. Okay. Okay, now it should be all right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can see your slide. Okay.
Perfect. So as I was saying to some of you early on, we are the College of Europe. We have two campuses, one in Bruges, a small town, a very beautiful small town in Belgium, and one in Warsaw, the college we are speaking from. I won't make a history lesson on the college, but just to give you some information on our history. The college was born in 1949. The first campus was established in Bruges, and the main objective was to foster European integration. As of course you are aware of, Europe was a shattered continent after the Second World War, and the idea of the founding fathers of the European community, which would later become the European Union, such as founding fathers such as Alcide de Gasperi, Winston Churchill, Salvatore de Madariaga, and so on, was to create an institution where young graduates coming from all over Europe, but now of course all over Europe and the neighborhood, these young graduates could debate, discuss, and and learn more about each other and foster European integration, which was so much needed at that time. The second campus was established in 1992, the campus in Natolin, which is a district of Warsaw, with this time a different objective. As you may know, in the 90s, discussion regarding the enlargement process of the European Union were very important in all European affairs dimension. And so the campus in Poland had the objective to focus a lot on the enlargement process overall. Today, of course, one of the main focus objective of the college is also to discuss and to talk about the European neighborhood policy, so the neighbors of the EU and in general external relations of the EU. I will jump immediately on the academic program maybe. You see, we have 4 programs in Bruges, in the Bruges campus. One is called the MA in European Political and Governance Studies, another one MA in International Relations and Diplomacy Studies, an MSc in European Economic Studies, and an LLM in European Law. So those are 4 programs that you have at in the Bruges campus, while you have one program in Natolin, a bit more comprehensive, a bit bigger, because we only have one here, which is the MA in European Interdisciplinary Studies. There are 4 different majors, but I'm gonna tell you more on that in another slide. In general, the college offers a program of 1 year. To be even more specific, it's 10 months. It's an advanced master, 66 credits, and it's taught in English and in French. I will come later also on, I will discuss later the language requirements, of course. There's actually another master, a bit different. It's the Master of Arts in Transatlantic Affairs, similar to what you would call a double degree. It's a master that is taught both at the College of Europe and at the Fletcher School of Law in Boston. So you would spend 1 year either at Natolin or either at Bruges, depends on your choice in the application, and the second year at Boston. So it's a 2-year program, this time 120 ECTS, and it's only taught in English. Just to give you a little bit more information about what we do here, what is a European interdisciplinary program. Our aim is really to teach European affairs, European studies from many different dimensions. Also, maybe Dr. Badani later on can tell you more about it with a more academic approach. But in general, as a student as well, because I was a student 3 years ago, I can tell you that the College of European Natolin offers really a program that very diversified. You have many different courses related to the European Union and European affairs that tackle thematics such as the EU energy dimension or EU foreign policy and so on, with professors who all have different expertises. So it is definitely an interdisciplinary program because you study everything from a different perspective. I want to give you an insight on how the semesters really look like at Natolin. The first semester is divided in an interdisciplinary track and a pluridisciplinary track. The interdisciplinary track is the default one. You choose it by default, and it's track where study track where you are taught the basic knowledge on European affairs and on the functioning of the European institutions. It is for those who really want to know more how things work in the European Union. However, if you already studied these topics, if you already feel confident, you already had, let's say, exams, for example, in EU law or on history of the European Union, and so on. Then you can choose the pluridisciplinary track, which is more advanced, more specialized. You would already jump into exams that take for granted a bit that you know the basis of the European Union. However, you would have to pass 3 preliminary exams in order to choose the pluridisciplinary track. The second semester is where things get definitely a bit more interesting at the college, because you can choose between 4 different majors. You can choose 1 out of 4 majors: EU Public Affairs and Policies, the EU and the World, the EU and its Neighbors, and European History and Civilization. Those majors really define your academic curriculum at the college, because out of each of these, you can choose a different set of exams for the second semester. So it is really important to choose well these majors, because they really define where you want to go after the college and what is the major you want to specialize in. We are called also flying faculty. As I said, we have professors coming from all over the world. We have professors, but also practitioners. So we have experts of the European Union, officials coming to teach, of course, their courses, but also to give their perspective on what it means to work in the European Union and what they actually do. So it's a good mix of professors, academia, and practitioners. It gives a good balance in that sense for an advanced master. We have a blended learning system, so we work also through e-learning platforms, which are so useful, especially now with the pandemic. Outside from the classical academic track, you can also choose different workshops, seminars, simulation games. You have many different activities that revolve around the academia, but are not related to exams or courses. You would have to write a master's thesis, of course. It's between 12,000 and 18,000 words. Now, I will just, I'm going to go a bit quick through the slides, not to take too much time from you, but I would just like to highlight one of our exclusive features, the study trips. At the College of Europe and NATO, we bring students to the heart of the European Union and in the neighborhoods and abroad in general. We have 2 one-week-long study trips, one in the first semester and one in the second semester. And those are really an integral part of the academic program. We bring students in these countries such as, I mean, throughout the years, we've been to let's say, to mention the ENP, we've been to Tunisia, we've been to Georgia, Armenia, or Ukraine, you name it. And in these study trips, we bring students to meetings with EU embassies, with government officials, with NGOs, with professors. We really deliver an academic program, because at the end of each semester, there's an exam related on the theme of each study trip. You can choose one in the first semester and one in the second semester, of course. We've been also in the study trip. We've been in Belgium. We've been also in Strasbourg. So we've also been in France. And it's really a great offer. You can choose out of many options. Here, there are some photos of the study trips we did. I can recognize for sure Kiev, Ukraine, but also Tunisia, Bosnia in the Balkans, and so on. And I think also Brussels. Just some photos that you can watch. We have a language department, a very developed one, because you can choose you can choose 2 out of 8 languages to study at the college. You can study Arabic, English, French, German, Italian, Polish, Russian, and Spanish. You can choose 2 out of 8. And at the end of the year, if you pass a language exam, you can get a certificate which is recognized worldwide, a certificate that goes from the level of A1 to C2. We also have a careers and a professional development department that is really tailor made for the needs of students. We have the chance that we are not many. We don't have many students every year because we are an advanced master, so we have around 137 was the maximum. We don't get much more students than that because we are a small institution, and we have, so this gives us the opportunity to really give individual guidance to students from career specialists from our departments, so as help with job interviews or to write CVs and motivation letters, other than also professional skills workshops for EFSO competition, for example, or debates and so on. But also important to note the networking events, because we have an alumni community, a very broad alumni community, more than 15,000 alumni between the Bruges campus and the Natolin campus. It is a community that is very dynamic. These people talk between each other, they exchange opportunities, and we organize also meetings with former students on our campus to discuss between, create discussions between current and former students. This is the quote from Maria Buric. She was actually the part of the first promotion at the College of Europe in Natolin, the Stefan Zweig promotion, 1993-1994. You can read the quote. You might ask yourselves where do students work after the College of Europe. You can see it a little bit from these slides. We have 25% of our students that work after the college in the private sector, so companies, consultancies, trade associations, and so on. And another 25% that work in institutions and EU agencies, but also, people who end up in the public sector, embassies, and diplomatic service, and so on. It's very diversified, especially with the interdisciplinary program. We have students really who work in many different job sectors. It is a first-class academic environment. We have 2 academic chairs. Actually, after these slides, I would give the floor to Dr. Badari, because I think it is really related to his work here at the college. But just to let you know, we have 2 academic chairs, the European Civilization Chair, the European Network Policy Chair. They organize events, high-level visits, conferences and debates. And there's also the Natolin Nest, parts of this chair. In Natolin Nest, the staff and students work together in many different initiatives. I can tell you one, for example, the Energy and Climate Governance Nest in 2018 participated in the COP24 in Katowice, and students, when they're not only as passive participants, but they worked with the Polish delegation in working papers and so on. So it's definitely something they could add in their curriculum. So if Dr. Badari is okay, before going through the academic requirements and the more technical information about how to study at the College of Europe, I would give the floor to him.
Thank you, Manfredi. What I wanted to say, sorry, you hear?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good, excellent.
Yeah.
what's unique about NATLA in particular, our campus in Warsaw, is that as a student, you will be actually living on campus at the same, where you study and where you live at the same time on the campus. You will be eating there, sleeping there, and learning there in the same place. So essentially, you don't have actually to leave the campus if you wish to for basically a whole year. So there's no escape from learning. Learning is with you basically 24 hours. And the program is actually intensive and rich and versatile. So it's a unique opportunity for any students. And that also gives you a close contact with your teachers or supervisors and so on. So that's a unique thing. And also that provides you an opportunity to participate, to be part of lots of events that happen on campus, both academic, but also social events. That part is also part of the learning process. There's a lot of seminars, lots of debates and conferences almost all the time. We invite lots of speakers, influential speakers from many different countries to do it on campus. Now it's more difficult because of the pandemic, now mostly online. But in the normal circumstances, everything happens on campus. So it's a very rich environment for anyone. Moving back to the academic structure of what we offer in NATLA, the European Interdisciplinary Program of Studies. Again, it's made out of 4 majors, as far as I remember. One is the EU Public Affairs and Politics, EU and the World. Then you have the European Civilization, and also then you have the EU and its neighbors, or the ENP, the European Neighborhood Policy Chair, where I work. I will talk a bit about what we do in our unit. We do lots of research on the EU foreign policy, but not only EU foreign policy, but also the politics, the events, what's going on in the countries around the EU, both in the Middle East, but also in Eastern Europe and other countries too. So that's mainly what we do. Our research is published in major international journals and books, etc. Also, we appear in the media as well, actively participating in, in what happens in the world. So, as a student, you will be learning from really expert professors and lecturers in whatever field you choose. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Again, the year is, as I said, is intense. There's learning 24 hours because you live in the learning environment itself. You eat on campus, sleep on campus, you learn on campus for a whole year. During the first part of the year, the first term, mainly you will be exposed to courses to enrich your basic conceptual understanding of politics, international relations, history, economy, law, etc. And in the next term, you will choose whatever major you want from the 4 majors we presented. And in the last few months, you will have time to write your thesis. So basically, that's in a nutshell what I wanted to say. And also, there's also the language part. I'm not sure, I'm afraid I think you touched on that. As a student, you will have the opportunity to learn new languages, or maybe enrich whatever language you already know. Like you can learn French, even though like we are bilingual here in the institution teaching English and French. So there will be courses if your French is, for example, needs improvement. There will be courses where you can enroll and make a good progress in whatever language you want. We have a lot of languages. I'm not sure how many we have, at least 10 as far as I remember, if not more. So in order to leave time for questions, I will stop here. So we have half an hour from now on. If anyone has any question, So go ahead and throw it, and we'll try to answer.
Actually, we will open the floor to the question, but after Mr. Manfredo finishes his presentation regarding the scholarship provided by College of Europe. So we will open the floor for any Q from the attendees. Yes, Mr. Manfredo, you can proceed.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Madi, and thank you very much, Dr. But I will go now to the more technical slides, really, so that we can also discuss that in the Q&A session. Just maybe just quickly, but Dr. Badai clearly already said it. It's really a student and campus life at Natolin. I won't go too much into these slides, but in a typical year, just know that you would be living, let's say, with 5 Germans, 15 French, 10 Italians, 6 Georgians, 5 Armenians. It's people coming from over 30 countries, 130 students coming from over 30 countries. So it is a real melting pot, once in a lifetime experience, because you really live with many different nationalities, many different cultures. And as a former student, I can tell you it is exciting. There are residencies, so you would live, and it is required for you to live on campus in our residencies. It is high standard accommodation, single room with a toilet, private toilet. There's a restaurant, a canteen open 7 days a week, giving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, indoor and outdoor sports facilities. Just so you see, those are just a few photos of our campus. It is in Warsaw. Warsaw is a very dynamic city. In particular, our campus, and that's also worthy to note, our campus is in a 120-hectare nature reserve in a south district of Warsaw, but it is still in Warsaw, so with the metro you can go anywhere to the center or outside the center. It is in a 120-hectare nature reserve. You can see some of some photos of our campus. Now, just to go quickly through the last slides, you have until the 13th of January to apply, so it gives you still a little bit of time. The applications were open since the 1st of October, and you have until the 13th January to apply. The academic requirements. In order to apply at the College of Europe, you need to have a Bologna master's degree or equivalent, which means you need to have 240 ECTS. However, you don't need to get those 240 ECTS by the closure of the application. So you don't need to have those credits by 13th of January. You need to have them by the end of the academic year at Natolin. So to be a little bit clear on that, if you are doing a master or you are at your last year of university and you are about to get the diploma or about to get those 240 ECTS, you can still apply. If you won't get them in January, just upload your transcripts, upload your previous degrees, your enrollment certificate, everything that will be required from you, and you can send us your diploma, your actual diploma, between even September and December, in this case, 2021, right? Because the academic year starts in September 2021. So you don't need to have all of those, you don't need to have the diploma, your master diploma, by 13th of January, but you can have it later. You need to have a level of English of minimum B2 and a French level of minimum A2, B1. However, we accept also students who do not have these language requirements yet. We ask them to either, if they are accepted, of course, either participate in the Natolin Summer Language Academy if they don't have this level yet of French or English. The Natolin Summer Language Academy is a 3 weeks intensive program in English and French courses. That usually happens in mid-August. Or we ask the student to send us a certificate by the beginning of the academic year, so by September 2021. So, for example, often French is the language that scares students the most. If you don't have that level, you need to be committed in reaching at least an A2. And if you really don't get that A2 during the interview, if you have an interesting profile, then you may be accepted upon the condition of participating to the Natoli Summer Language Academy or delivering your certificate in September. Just let's go. The fees at the College of Europe. So the value of the College of Europe is 17,000 euros for the tuition fee and 9,000 euros for board and lodging fees. However, we have many scholarships. We have our luck, let's say, is that we have a non-profit organization. We are financed at more than 90% by the European Commission. So de facto, between Bruges and Natolin, more than 70% of our students receive a partial or full scholarship. And this is also one of the main reasons I'm here, and we are here now presenting the college. We present also scholarship opportunities, which are many and very important. So let me tell you what is our scholarship scheme at the College of Europe. We have the ENP scholarships, both for EU citizens and for ENP country citizens. So in your case, if there are no double nationality between, if there are no EU citizens, in your case, you would be considered ENP citizens. Those are full scholarships, only full scholarships, and they are awarded on the basis of merit and motivation. So in practical terms, in the application portal of the College of Europe, you have the possibility to apply for this ENP scholarship, and you are asked to write a motivation letter telling us why you want to get this scholarship, why you, do you have, maybe if you have already a thesis proposal, that it would be good to put it in the motivation section. And so the scholarship is going to be attributed on the basis of motivation and merit, and by merit we mean the whole profile of the student, so the academic curriculum or professional curriculum. Those ENP scholarships are valid both in Bruges and in Natolin, so you can get them both in Bruges and in Natolin, while the exclusive scholarships that we have in Natolin are the history scholarships. Of course, forgot to mention, but I think it's self-evident, in order to get a ENP scholarship, you need to be really interested in the European neighborhood policy and so on. In the Natolin, while the Natolin exclusive scholarships are the history scholarship, is full or partial. It's for all nationalities, so also for Palestinian. You need to be interested in history, especially history of Europe. Either you are also a graduate in history or related disciplines. Either you are really interested in the topic. You need to also write a motivation letter, and it is based on motivation and merit, like the ENP scholarship. Then we have a new scheme of scholarship, the journalism scholarship. This is the first year we have it, still full or partial. And if you are journalists or representatives of communications and media centers, or you have also a great interest in continuing your professional career or start a professional career in journalism, but it has to be really clear interest that we can see from your profile, then you may be awarded one of these journalism scholarships. The difference here is that the journalism scholarships are not, they're not attributed based on the motivation letter. We don't have a section in our portal where you can write your motivation to apply for these scholarships. We attribute this scholarship by going through the profile of the candidate, and if we think you fit the profile for the journalism scholarships, you might get it. But there's no separate section for that. However, of course, it may help to, in the general motivation letter on why you want to apply to the college, so the general motivation section, that letter section, it may be useful to mention why, just if you have background in journalism, to mention it there. Finally, you have to join us, you need to apply, of course, and you need to apply to admissions.coleurope.eu. These informations are easily reachable through our website, but just to let you know, it's admissions.coleurope.eu. You can choose up to 2 study programs. So it can be, let's say, the European Interdisciplinary Studies program in Napoli, and then one in Bruges, or just 2 in Bruges, or also the Malta. You can choose up to 2 study programs. You don't have to choose 2. You can also choose only 1. Then in the online application, you have to upload your CV in Europass format. You have to upload your general motivation letter on why you want to study at the college, the scholarship application, so the motivation letter related to scholarships, diplomas, transcripts, and very important, 2 recommendation letters. This is the part that might be a bit longer and would require you to be quicker, let's say, in these days, because you need to have 2 recommendation letters from 2 professors, or at least 1 professor, and then if you cannot find a second professor to write a recommendation letter, then it can be from an internship supervisor or a job supervisor, someone who knows you professionally, who has worked with you in a professional environment, and that and that can recommend you in that sense. Then, of course, you have to send us the language proficiency certificates, and there are no application fee. It is a free process. And this is the pre-selection process. Once you gather these documents, you send the application, you are going through the pre-selection process. Should you be pre-selected, then you will be invited to an interview with representatives of the College of Europe. In your case, it's only with representatives of the College of Europe. Sometimes we have interviews also with national selection committees, because we have some agreements. For example, just to give you one example, with the foreign ministry in Italy that gives scholarships to students. So in that case, the national selection committee would be present. But in your case, it's only with representatives of the College of Europe. And this interview is both in English and French. Is, let's say, a small check also on your competencies in French. The final decision for the admission are going to be delivered between May-June 2021, and then the scholarship between May-July 2021. I'm done. I just would like to tell you that it may seem a very complicated process, but it is not. I mean, you still have to gather some documents, you still have to write some documents about, so write the motivation letter, find the professors for the recommendation letter, but it is not that difficult once you start doing it. And it is a very prestigious institution. You will see it everywhere in the web, but don't let yourself be intimidated by that. You can become a student here as a ENP citizen, or as a Palestinian citizen. You also have access to the ENP scholarships, which are full. It really changed also the life of many of my colleagues who got scholarships, I got one scholarship as well to study at the college. It is a really great way to study abroad for a full year, being also fully funded. And there we have many scholarships. That's why we really like to promote them, because it's really sad when we cannot allocate them because maybe we don't have enough applicants from certain countries. So we do not don't let yourself be intimidated by this whole process, and really do apply, because it's a great opportunity. And I'm done, and I think I can give the floor to Mr. Mahdi.
Thank you so much for your good presentation. Actually, from your presentation, I can say that your campus is very active campus, as you mentioned, and Dr. Badareen has mentioned that you don't have to leave the campus because there are so many activities, including webinars, seminars, workshops, talk with the professional, with expertise. It's actually a great opportunity for the students to gain knowledge and experience from those activities. And also I can say that you have an international campus. You have around 30 international students. You have is also a great opportunity for students open about what's going on from our cultures. And I sure that since you have international students, you may provide them some conditions related to the, for example, to the culture, to the religion of each one. Because I have one question from the attendees mentioned that is it available for female student accommodation? Do you provide a special available accommodation for female from male students, or they can like in one building or one condominium, for example? Yes.
I can answer that.
Okay.
So the residencies on campus, there are two residencies.
Yeah.
One is called Vlatkovic and one is called Ettinger. They provide only single rooms. So there's no, so it's a single room, private single room with private toilet. So there's no question of that. Then there are some residences, also a few of them outside. So it's apartments, and it's only men and only women. So it's divided.
Yes, yes, yes. Very, very good. And also, I have one question for Dr. Badari related to the thesis. He mentioned that the student may have, for example, 4 months or 3 months to finish his thesis. It looks like it is not a big thesis. It will be like a small concentrated thesis, because the time given to finish your thesis is like not 1 year or 5 or 6 months. So you have to be very concentrated to finish your thesis. Dr. Dari, can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about
Yes.
the structure of the thesis?
The thesis time is really short. The piece itself doesn't need to be long, as far as I remember, about 10,000 words or something like that. It's a focused piece. You have a research question, you try to answer that. The supervisor, whatever supervisor the student choose, will help them on how to work on the thesis, how to choose the question, how to do the research and do the work. But in my case, what I advise students is to start preparing for the thesis as soon as they can, even in the first semester. If you have a note, write it down. If you like you read something and there's an idea in that one, write it in your notebook. When the time comes at the end, basically in the last 2 3 months or in the second semester, you will have a lot of material already in your notebook, which you can transform to your thesis. And in that way, you save a lot of time and a lot of effort. So thesis is not a big work, but it's a very important part of the program. So it has, I think, how many points? 20, I think 20 credits for the thesis on itself, right?
Mm.
I'm not sure the weight, but it's a major part of the program itself. So it's a short time, but it's doable. The supervisor will advise the student on the best way to fulfill their the demands of the thesis. So it's not a big deal. I hope so.
Yeah, thank you so much. Manfredo, I have one question related the conditions of applying to the scholarships. Do the students require to find a supervisor in the application process, or just submit the documents without writing or email, send any emails to discuss about the topic for the thesis, or to arrange with the supervisor? Is it necessary, for example, to do that, or just submit the documents?
Can you repeat once again, because I had an interference at some point?
Yeah, my question is, during the application process, do the students need to discuss with supervisor in College of Europe related to particular topics?
During the application process?
Yeah.
No. During the application process, it's only about getting getting accepted at the college based on the profile of the student, based on the application and on the interview. So the only contact they might have with the academia of the college during the application process is the interview selection. So it's going to be after the pre-selection. Then after that, once they are accepted, yes, of course, there is a lot of talking with academic supervisors for the thesis and so on, but only after that. By the way, I'm seeing the live as well on Facebook, so it's really nice. I would like to thank also all the students who are commenting the presentation, and I'm ready. I also see the questions, so yeah.
Okay, very nice, very nice. The last question is about the limitation or the number of the scholarship that you provide to the Palestinian students. Are these numbers limited, for example, to 3, 4, 5, or it is open to be competing with other students for this scholarship? Do you have any particular number of scholarships for students in Palestine, or just let them compete with other students from all over the world?
So we don't have fixed numbers of scholarship based on nationalities. However, we do tend to diversify our student body. So it is always based on, of course, the scholarships are always based on merit and motivation. So if you are motivated and excellent, Palestinian student, you can be accepted, without any problem. I wouldn't say you would compete with all the other nationalities, because we try to diversify our student body. And in any case, we always had students coming from Palestine in every promotion, almost every promotion, let's say. So it is, I wouldn't say it's the main, the competition is not declining this way. It's a bit different. There is no clear number of scholarships for each nationalities, but we take care of diversifying the student body. So definitely.
Okay.
And let me also maybe because I was seeing one question
Okay.
from a student. Let me just address it.
Okay.
The full ENP scholarship for Palestinian and other ENP citizens covers both the expenses at the college, all of the expenses. So for one entire year, you wouldn't have to worry about any expenses at the college. Of course, whatever you want to do outside is on you, but at the college, you wouldn't have to worry about any expense. And it also covers the flight tickets to come to the college and go back to Palestine. So I wanted to answer this question that was asked.
Okay, thank you so much for your good information. At this point, I have no any other questions. Dr. Badarin, if you want to add something before we close our session, you are
I would
most
just
welcome.
encourage
You want to say
students.
something?
Yeah, I would just encourage the students to take this opportunity seriously and look into it and apply. And don't lose too much time. Start now. See what's the bureaucratic requirements, what documents are needed. Motivation letter, you can seek help from for people. You can write it, of course, but you can seek help also to make it, polished. Try your best. Do your CV, the required documents, motivation letter. See your degree, whatever credits that are required. And apply. Take this opportunity seriously because it's really a good opportunity. I mean, it's 1 year intensive learning, living and learning in the same place here with us. So do that now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Manfredi, would you like to add something?
No, just as Dr. Badari said, yes, do apply. The scholarships are many. It's a great opportunity. I hope to see many applications from students of the Islamic University of Gaza. And I would really like to thank you a lot, Mr. Mahdi, and everybody, Professor Asafi, for giving us this opportunity to present the scholarships and the academic offer. And thank you to all the students following us also on the Facebook Live for their kind questions and attention to the presentation.
Thank you so much. On behalf of International Affairs at Islamic University of Gaza, I would like to thank you so much for your time and for your effort to promote such a scholarship and to give a small introduction about the College of Europe, and hope we can receive some applications from our students to your college and to gain the experience from the College of Europe. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your valuable information, and hopefully we can meet again in another session. I would like to thank for those who are joining us virtually. Thank you so much, and see you again in another webinar. Thank you so much.
Maybe
Yes.
one last thing I would like to ask maybe Mr. Mahdi,
Yes.
if you could copy paste those links I put in the chat on Zoom in the
Yes.
Facebook chat, Facebook comments, because I think they may be useful.
Okay, I will make the links that you mentioned on the chat box available to all the students to contact you in case of any questions, any clarification from their side. Again, thank you. Thank you so much, and see you, inshallah, in next webinars. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.